hands here. And fortunately for us, they have sort of made this a little bit more cookie cutter. They still keep the Sand King. I think that the Sand King from Hijack wasn't a problem at all, but they combo this up with the Marana. Of course, we have seen the AA Sand King combo work in the past, but Sand King Marana, much more stable here, Rayuur, even though unfortunately, Wolf teams still have the Abaddon once again.
Wolf team was just preparing this pick from the second time. Like they just pick Abaddon on the first phase, and on this game they respond the Sand King and the Mirana of the Abaddon. It's a really decent response, and we see Enchantress for Interitus on Abaddon. Like it's kind of weird.
The only thing I can imagine why they wanted the Enchantress is they just want the Harpy. They're like, you know what, boys? Maybe if we find a Harpy, that's going to change everything for us. It's going to give us what we need. I suppose maybe as well, most of the time I've seen this Enchantress hero come up, it has been in some kind of fashion to try and make sure that the early game goes as well as possible. And given what happened in game one, where everything went to hell in the first 10 minutes, maybe that's where they're thinking, put all our focus into the early game. Don't worry about later. Let's just make sure that we at least come out of the laning phase without a resounding loss on all parts of the map.
Yeah, I think the idea is to have a Chaos Knight on Sand King. Instant. Oh, that's a Timber carry. Poggers.
Okay.
Timber carry. I think they pick Enchantress to have a strong laning phase, like you say, to make sure they just do not get destroyed like they did on the last time. And but on the game at all, I think Enchantress just sucks when it passes like 30 minutes of the game. They see this Chaos Knight pick common since like they built this pick. Like every carry is banned. Like you have Laundry, Piao, Templar, Anti-Mage, Tiny Luna, Medusa, and Morphling. They did not have many choices for HFN, and then you have Chaos Knight. But I think they can maybe flex this Chaos Knight for the offlane. They can put the Mars middle, the Chaos Knight to the offlane, and they just counter the Timber. Let me see if they have something left to counter the Timber. So.
While you're still checking that, actually, this now that you're mentioning it, right? We've seen similar drafts happen in Europe with what's that team? Game and Gladiators. They do this all the time as well, putting like Mars middle, some flexible, heavy right-clicking, dealing illusion hero in the off lane. The CK is normally the one that fits that bill, and then you put something else into the safe lane for HFN. Because if that is the case, that means that they can fight so often between the Mars and the CK, and then whatever safe lane carry they have for HFN can get involved later. Of course, right now, the big worry for them is going to be dealing with the Timbersaw. And if, like you say, it is the case that they're playing this Timbersaw safe lane, I suppose that Timber, not the craziest and most dangerous thing in the world, pre-level 6, so you can still lane into him if you are playing the CK. Yeah, I like that option, actually. I would hope that they keep this flexible until the very end of their draft. Although Interitus does seem to believe that they are going to be playing the CK into the safe lane because they are now banning heroes for the off/mid lane for either Tavo or 4DR at the end of the draft.
This is an excellent Timbersaw carry game because they have 4 heroes that rely on strength. I really like when FCR does these weird things, you know? Like, no one is used to play against Timbersaw carry, and it's a hero that has an extremely overpowered power spike. Yeah, here comes the 2 bans to protect the Timber, the Bat ban and the Viper ban. Let's see what Wolf team is going to pick. I think they can maybe flex. They can pick a carry here to deal with Timber and get the Chaos Knight to the offlane because Sand King is excellent against Chaos Knight. And I think if they put the Chaos Knight to through carry this game, it's absolutely dog shit. Like it's super bad. Like you have Timber to deal with the Elysians, you have the Sand King, and Chaos Knight does not have a game. Let's see Necro.
Okay. I mean,
it's a Necro offlane or Necro mid lane?
Or even Necro safe lane is something that we've been also seeing a little bit more lately.
I don't think so. I don't think so. HFN doesn't like to play these heroes that are just strange to farm. You know, like to have a good time on Necro, you maybe need to go Midas. You need to snowball the lane. You need a shard. He likes to to play fast heroes who just has faster pace timing. So I think maybe we are going to see Necro off lane.
Necro off lane, Mars mid, then CK safe lane.
No, actually, I think it's Necro mid, because if they put the Necro on the off lane, Enchanter is going to just dispel the Shroud all the time.
How about this? So we put Mars into the safe lane, Necro middle, and then CK off lane. That way you don't have to be playing CK into the Sand King lane. Mars can get his farm that he needs in the earlier portion of the game, and you don't have to worry about the Enchantress just like hard countering the Necrophos in the off lane. And we see the last pick though for Interitus is a Shadow Fiend. Alright, it's definitely not Necro mid. I don't want to go mid right now on Necrophos if I see Shadow Fiend, so 40R is going to be the one that tanks up the responsibility for his team. What do you make of this though, this last pick? Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend. I was making jokes about this when we were casting China earlier today, but now that I actually see it, this is very, very peculiar. Why haven't we seen this hero practically at all this patch? And what do you think about it being picked into this particular game?
I think this hero, when he used to play carry, they discovered that he was broken on carry. But I think to this hero to be played on the mid lane, it depends too much. Like, the hero is too much greedy. When the player who plays the hero needs to be really an SF expertise with the hero, because the hero has too many variants, he has too many details that you need to know to play him properly and play well. And I think it's a really greedy hero. It depends on EOS and BKB, maybe Sanjiasha and BKB, Sanjiasha into Dragonlance. The hero needs too much farm. I think they pick SF because they thought Necro can maybe go middle.
Yeah.
But I think Mars can just deal with SF pretty decent. Like, if he gets in two raises, he just spear SF back and he's fine.
Yeah. Not only do you spear SF back, I mean, you have the W as well for the lifesteal, right? So you never get ran out of lane either.
Yeah, but overall, I think Interitus draft it's way stronger than the Wolf team, because this Chaos Knight, it's absolutely countered this game. You have Timber to deal, you have Sand King to deal the illusions. Wolf team can lose this game. I think in order to Wolf team win this game like the last game, they need to destroy the lane. If the lane just draw and the Timber manages to have a good time on bottom, Interitus is going to just snowball. But I think if Wolf team wins the lane, they can just make sure they control the game and Timbersaw does not run out of control.
Well, we need to see whether or not they can get that lane win for the side of Interitus, or for Wolf team rather, to get them into Division 1, or if Interitus
they're swapping lanes again,
will leverage the power of their draft. And like you said, they are swapping lanes, so let's get into the game and see how this is all going to pan out. Game 2 of Wolf team versus Interitus, Div 2 action. And this game could potentially be for all the marbles. Should Wolf team win, they are into Division 1. If Interitus win, things are much more interesting for a while. But like you say, they are going to be doing some shenanigans here when it comes to how they want to stack up on these lanes. Hijack on the Sand King is the one that's going into top, so that will leave Pimpolio, FCR. Well, FCR might be going top as well, but they do seem like they want to be able to stack up some kind of tri-lane scenario to ensure that FCR does get a good start onto the Timbersaw.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense putting Timber against Necro if they can place Timber against Chaos Knight. But you have a ward on the side of Wolf team on the bottom. FCR needs to be careful. If he got spotted by this ward, the plan is almost over.
Okay, they see Pimpolio, but that's only one hero revealed right now. But look at this, FCR is doing the right thing, making sure he's not going to be running into the ward. He takes the long route around, and it looks like he will be able to get away with this one here. HFN is already stacked up into this bottom lane, but his team is not convinced that he's going to be him by himself here. Look at how he's positioning. Sure, he wants to be able to block this camp, but I think he also wants to make sure that he can break a smoke and escape behind the tower if needed. But they might decide to change this one around, because they look like they might also want to start with a tri-lane of their own. Nah, KJ is coming bottom. Never mind. KJ is coming. They've seen FCR. They know it's a tri-lane. All right, so if you're CK, do you try to make the swap here, or do you just accept that you're going to have an awful lane? As we saw an arrow connecting onto KJ, not enough damage to kill him early on. But Pimpolio showing what he's capable of on the Mirana very early on here, Rayuur.
Is the damage that the this skill that Timbersaw just does to these two heroes? They're just running south on the lane.
How many strength heroes are in this game? So 3 strength heroes, 1 hero that also relies heavily on having a bunch of HP. They just killed the... Oh, that's actually huge, dude. No tangos, no clarity, and no sentry in this lane. This is now looking way more solid for the side of Interitus here. And given that they have D-Flash already de-warding the camp so he can play with this Enchantress, do you think they need to bring down already the Snapfire to be involved in this bottom lane? Because otherwise, does feel like HFN can't really get much farm in this situation.
I think Snapfire wants to make sure to give at least 1 kill advantage to Necro. No, he just TP bottom. Okay, I thought he was going to stay top and make sure they try to kill Sand King at
They're
least
gonna kill Pimpolio though. Oh no.
What?
Again,
Oh my God.
2 games in a row that King
Again.
RD shows up out of nowhere and becomes a thorn in the side of Interitus. This time around, it's not going to be FCR who suffers the first blood. It will be Pimpolio. But nonetheless, that's another kill picked up by King RD. Amazing stuff being done here by a Wolf team. I mean, it already seemed rough for them at the beginning with the start, but now that Snapfire's come and gotten this first blood, suddenly all that regen that was missing from the lane, Snapfire can buy it now. You've got almost this bonus gold out of nowhere.
And she's pulling. They block the camp, then and they just unblock. I don't know why. Then they
Okay.
just block the camp again. Yo, FCR just got really low HP.
Very low, but he does get given the salve by his squad here. We know that there's going to be action in this lane, so while we still have an opportunity here, Rayuur, talk to me about this mid lane. 40R versus the Shadow Feed. We were talking about how, for the most part, Mars shouldn't die here, as KJ does die. Okay, looks like I shouldn't have left this lane at all. 2 support heroes have already been taken down. HFN attempting to run away. Between himself and FCR, neither has enough damage to reliably kill the other. So they will just maintain posture here. Ultimately, though, we see who benefits from this situation. Like, if there's more kills happening bottom, would you rather be on Dire side or Radiant?
I would be on the Dire side because they can just snowball.
2 heroes Snapfire cookie stun coming in from King RD, enabling them to bring down Flash in the bottom lane, and FCR also falling quite low. There's no Timber Chain available just yet, so this Timber Sword does need to be careful. Scatter Blast coming in from King RD. One more right click will enable the Snapfire to grab a double kill. Calamity has been falling them. It feels like I've seen this movie before, Rayuur. Deja vu is
Why he
hitting
just
me quite
stands
heavily
there?
right now.
Why do you just think they're getting hit by everyone? He doesn't have a stick though.
Oh no. Oh
It feels
no.
like Wolf. I don't know. It seems like Wolf team are doing the basics to win these tri lanes. You see that everyone has a stick. You have a stick on Abaddon, you have a stick on Snapfire, you have a stick on Chaos, but you don't have a stick on the Timber, on Mirana. You have on the Flash, but I mean, it's Enchantress, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Enchantress can't really turn the lane around, no matter how many one charges you have, right?
I don't know actually. I feel like Interitus is completely lost by doing this. Look, they managed to get into the lane. It was the best scenario possible. They block the camp, they unblock the hard camp, then they make sure they deward the camp that they block, and somehow in some way Mirana just feeds, and they start to lose the lane on these little things, you know, on a couple kills that they gave to Wolf team, on these weird blocks and unblocks of camps. It's like they're kind of lost.
Unfortunately, when you're one thing that makes this even worse here, Rayuur, I don't want to make it worse for Interitus, but sadly we have to. I mean, we've seen the Enchantress having a lot of her creeps killed in this lane, but because they've committed the Mirana as well as the Enchantress down to this bottom side of the map, There's nobody available in the top lane. Take a quick look at the CS difference between the Sand King and the Necro. It's looking pretty grim right now. Sure, Hijack, there's not really much that he can do by himself against Tavo, but the fact remains that it's quite bad right now, and KJ might end up dying. 40R got solo killed in the mid lane, but this fight bottom is not going to go the way of Interitus either, as they end up losing D-Flash first. KJ does eventually end up getting brought down, but they might be able to follow up with a kill onto FCR. Actually, they don't even care. They leave him. King RD goes to buy Arcane Boots. He'll return, prop back up the mana. Maybe they make the jump. But like you mentioned, the big deal is that middle level 6 was reached for this Mars. He uses the big arena. They get the catch onto the SF. And now he's found a haste rune. He's running bottom. They're gonna try find FCR, who's already been stunned up by the Chaos Bolt. Spear of Mars connects onto him. Doesn't even pin him to a tree because it kills him immediately. No more Timbersaw in this bottom lane. D-Flash trying to run himself away. At the very least, Pimpolio does find a decent arrow, but it's not decent enough as they get the Fire Snap Cookie stun out, bringing down D-Flash. Trouble is looming on all sides of the map. It's only Hijack. Once again, just like last game, he's the only one that's not chain feeding, but everybody else is having such a hard time here, Rayuur.
But he's also having a bad time. Necro just destroyed him on top. He's farming the jungle. Just look at the Necro net worth. 3.3k against 1.7k.
Damn, double. Damn. Okay, nice. Very nice.
Like I said, deja vu. We are watching the same movie. And it's what I said. If Wolf Team manages to win the lanes, they can get the game. Because Timbersaw will have absolutely no space, and the Zero needs space.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's going to be denied that space though, because he's going to be sent back to the fountain right now. The arena triggered out here by 40R. It's going to enable them to kill FCR. And that's just that. All right, now that they've gotten so much out of this bottom lane, they're pretty sure Interitus is not going to play this as a tri lane anymore. So they're deciding to move around with King RD, leaving HFN alone with the Phantasm to solo take the tower. Where on this map are they experiencing any disadvantage? It feels like they play a freer game than game one somehow, and game one was already pretty free for them.
Seems like they're just a better team overall. On the lane phase, on the way to play the mid game, how they are, is that.
All right, that's nice. That's something. Oh boy. All right, so do they just need kills like that all the time, like without answer? Like, does Murdoch just need to always pick up a double damage rune at 10 minutes, 12 minutes every single time? Is that the only way back into this game for them?
I think the way to go back is start to take towers and make sure Timber can farm. Murdoch also needs a BKB and use this game. Tough game. They just get destroyed in the lanes.
Yeah. 40R. It might not be outstripping the SF in net worth because, you know, SF has the flash farming abilities to her name. Obviously, you're going to be utilizing that as much as possible. But 40R does now have the phase boots, I think, flying in here. And then soon after, most of the time that I see these mid-Marses do take the second to still finish the armlet before going into the Blink Dagger. Is this that kind of game where you stop off, or is he going to do like he did on his Tiny and just rush the Blink Dagger as he just picks off D-Flash here with the help of King RD?
I think he goes straight Dagger. Like, they don't have initiation, no? They need someone to just jump. It's okay to go phase before the Dagger this game because he did not the best lane phase. He solo the SF, but it's okay to have the phase boot. It helps on the rotation and to farm. But he needs Dagger 100%.
He certainly agrees with you because he's queued up the Dagger. Interitus, they've stacked up 3 heroes in the top lane, almost like they wanted to make a move onto the Necro. Unfortunately for them, KJ will interrupt this maneuver. They do manage to get the quick kill onto the Sabaton. 40R though, coming in to try and look for revenge. Doesn't find the angle just yet for the spear, but oh, look at that synergy, my friend. Reaper slide into the spear to create the necessary damage to bring him down. And not only is that a big kill here, Rayuur, that's also the first Reaper side stack gained by the Necrophos. And this is Interitus that brought the 3 heroes top initially, but ultimately it still somehow ends up being favorable for Wolf Team at the end of the day.
Yeah. We see that Chaos Knight just free farming. Like 5.3k net worth. FCR playing on his lane, but he can't do much. At least this game FCR just not dying randomly on the map. It's just a matter of time till the towers go down. We see that Hijack is trying his best to make sure top tower does not go down, because if they start to lose towers, the game is going to be hard. They need to defend these towers no matter what.
Speaking of tower defense here, mid tier 1 tower is falling fairly low. Looks like 40R and King RD want to be able to take it soon, but the first thing they need to find is an angle to get in onto one of these heroes. Or, well, it's easier if all the heroes just walk away and leave the tower free for you to take. And this is very strange. Why did they leave the tower? I mean, they're not that strong on the map right now, but are they so weak that they can't even defend a tier 1 middle right now?
Yeah, they can't. They have Arena, they have the Snapfire UT. Wolf Team is doing something that is really greedy, that is playing the 3 lanes at the same time. You have Chaos Knight playing bottom, you have 2 heroes middle, just smoke it towards the jungle, you have 2 heroes top. They know they are stronger, they know what they are doing, and Murdoch is dead.
Yeah, dead for sure, man. You were talking about how they have these Morty's kisses with the Snapfire. We see this combination in China all the time, and for good reason. You just see it there, why it is so easy to utilize these heroes in tandem. Arena into kisses, no escape. Quick kill onto Murdoch. He was the most farmed hero for Interitus. They're trying to find some degree of revenge here. FCR came in, but very quickly realized that, why am I here? What am I doing? I need to get out. I can't really provide value in this situation. Also, very atypical build coming in as you see Hijack about to die in the top lane. But look at this build from FCR. Instead of finishing either the Sange or the Kaya, buys the big items first, the Ogre Axe and the Staff of Wizardry. I would have thought that in a game like this, at the very least, you get the Sange. But what do you make of this kind of build-up for the Timbersaw?
I think Kaya would be better, but I think he went for the Ogre Axe to just not be that fragile, you know, has some extra HP to help him to survive because the game is hard. But it's strange, it's unusual.
Unfortunately, there's not been that many usual things happening for them. This is... You don't expect the early game to go this badly for you. Even if you're expecting to lose a game, you're hoping it's not this much of a rout. KJ coming across Pimpolio and Hijack in their jungle. Borrow time will be leveled up right now, forced out onto KJ. 1 minute cooldown, who really cares about this? At the same time, you mentioned that they can play 3 lanes at once. They're finally starting to congregate together. They've smoked up on 3. I think they want Murdoch again. If they can catch him, this would be huge. And indeed they do. Not just him, they catch 2 heroes at the same time. They drag Murdoch into a very awkward position. I didn't know you could do that, by the way, that you could drag a hero with Reality Rift outside of the arena, but, you know, it's fine. It's cool. Gets them a kill, and it's gonna get them another one because Flash... Woo! That was a lot of damage happening onto the Enchantress. 2 heroes down for the count, and Wolf Team no longer needing to play all 3 lanes because they're strong enough to come together now and start pushing down more important towers like the tier 2s. And they're gonna go for another fight on the top lane here, right here. They're not done just yet. Oh wow, Tavo not even needed, just needed to throw in the Reaper scythe as a cherry on top. And look where HFN is hunting Pimpolio. He ran into the tier 3 tower. He knew where the Mirana was gonna go, and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna head you off in advance. And there's no counterplay. Fam, they're farming you in front of a tier 3, and there's nothing you can do about this. This is looking even harder of a stomp than game number 1.
Yeah. I don't think they have resources to make sure they come back like they did on the last game. They won that middle fight. SF still doesn't have the BKB. Sand King still doesn't have the dagger. The power spike from Timbersaw is the eggs and the dagger. They're really far away. HFN is just destroying the farm right now. Just
Look on the bright side. Look on the bright side, bro. At least they have BKB on Murdoch.
Pog. Fresh BKB into treads.
Oh,
Are we
man.
back to 2014?
You know, I was about to make the same joke that there was an era in Dota where I would have looked at this and be like, wow, he's so strong. But now you're like, yikes.
Like maybe almost 10 years ago. Yes. Is dead? Maybe.
Not maybe, sir. He is 100% dead. He does BKB. Dude, no, TP! TP! Oh, he took too long. He took too long. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. It's a 9-second BKB charge. So, fortunately, he doesn't TP to where any of his allies have already gone to. So, will be a quick one. Able to get himself away. And he claimed the tier 1 tower. So, that is something. It's not nothing. It is something. But it looked like that pissed off Wolf team a little bit because they smoke up immediately. 40R are going to try and find some other very hapless shill that hopefully doesn't have BKB to kill. Let's see who they find here. FCR, unfortunately, is the one that they come across. Oh no. The supposedly carry Timber Sword. Not going to be able to carry if you're dead, my friend. Gets brought down by HFN, who TPs in onto the outpost. And speaking of the outpost, look who's here. It's Murdoch. Caught right in front of these heroes. Reaper's Scythe will bring him down. He did manage to get off the big Requiem of Souls. And with that and the distraction of the rest of the fight, it's enough to kill the Mars. Unfortunately, though, the rest of his team is also falling to pieces around him. HFN grabbing himself a double kill in the situation. They're not done just yet. They find Pimpolio, turn it into a triple. A 4-for-1 trade here, Rayuur. And though they managed to get the Mars, it's been very annoying. It's certainly not worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a free pass to Division 1 right here.
Oh. Yes, indeed, sir. Division 1. From, like, you were just talking about this in game number 1, right? About how from a very dominant position, all you have to do is keep scaling on your items, prevent your enemy from getting to their necessary items to fight with. It seems like they're so far away in Interitus from their big items. I mean, they have the one Blink Dagger on Sand King, but SF only has BKB, still only going for Mask of Madness. What? Okay. Ag's fairly far away from FCR, Blink even further. Can't, like, unless they throw, can Wolf team even lose this game, especially since they're about to kill FCR again now in this bottom lane. He is down for the count. Bye bye, my friend. King RD brings him down with the Scatter Blast, who's been having an incredible series, honestly. Like, right now, if you're Wolf team, are you still thinking about this game, or are you already planning for Division 1 next season?
You just think about Division 1, I think. Like, the game is already over, honestly.
Oh, man.
It's like we are just seeing the same thing on the previous game. GG.
Wow, they actually call it even faster than what happened in game number 1. Right after the Necrophos finds a kill at the end of the game there onto the Enchantress. Interitus, they look left, they look right, they look around, and they see no way out of the deep pit that Wolf team put them in this game number 2. And as a result, they'll throw in the tower and just call GG. They are already out of Division 2, but now Wolf team have gotten themselves, like you mentioned, that free express ticket into Division 1. The first team to do it here in the second tour. They failed in the first season, but Rayuur, they finally did it. They finally made sure they're not going to be the disappointments. HFN, Tavo, King RD, 40R, and KJ, they are back to playing a Div 1 Dota. What a showing from them this last game. What a stomp. Interitus, damn. They cannot be happy about this. Is this a bad enough game for them to consider disbanding right afterwards?
I don't know. They need to calm down and discuss. Like, it's hard to make these decisions when you just lose, you know? Just try to reset and wait some time to take a decision.
Such difficult decisions to have to make here for this team, especially after a blowout of this level. Wolf team, it wasn't even close, honestly, and we've seen Wolf team with some pretty resounding victories, but this one was just out of this world. Interitus barely got a look in for the entire game. I mean, look how many heroes here. 2 separate heroes going completely unkilled. King RD only dying once, 40R dying twice, the majority of the kills onto KJ. You know, for Interitus, we're talking about them having a bad day at the office and, of course, thinking, what is our future of our